Hey guys, what's happening? I hope you had a great day today. I hope you're off to a good start this week. I'm kind of sputtering out of the gate, but I'm out of the gate, and that's the main thing. So today I'm bringing back something old school. And this I've asked you this question before, but I'm running into some issues. I'm seeing some things that prompt me to ask this question again. Is are you teachable? You have to be teachable in order to make it in this industry. Nobody's coming in here with the skills and things that they need in order to be successful right off the bat. You're talking about maybe 0.3% of people coming to day trading with what they already need, because the mental skills that we need, we just don't learn growing up. It's something that we have to learn. There are other skills that just aren't relatable to anything outside of trading or anything that we normally do in our lifetime. So we have to be teachable. And so I've got a couple questions that I can ask you. I came across this quiz, and these questions, if you answer yes to them, you're not teachable. And I know, because when I first started teaching, I was not teachable. I was that person who I was a professional, I was successful, and I was coming into the classroom and I didn't think anybody needed to tell me anything. But I realized very quickly that I didn't have what I thought I had, and in order for somebody to teach me, I had to realize that I was unteachable. So, are you quickly defensive when somebody disagrees with you? No, do you go out of your way to be right? And in trading, you know what happens when you do that. You hold on to your losers too long because you don't want to be wrong. And you hold on so that you can end up being right. And you won't admit that you were wrong to start with. So, do you avoid listening to, reading from, or talking with others who differ from you? The thing is, you can't go around looking for people to tell you what you want to hear. Um, People who are good marketers know what you want to hear. They know what the average person wants to hear, and they're going to tell you that. And it may not be true. It probably isn't true. But it's what you want to hear, and it makes you feel good, and it separates your money from your wallet. And that's what works. But that's not going to get you to the goal that you have set for yourself. You have to listen to people that's going to tell you how it is and not how you think it should be. Because if you were already successful, you wouldn't be seeking any education, or you wouldn't be seeking to learn from these guys. So you have to listen to the people. They may not be telling you what you want to hear, but they're telling you what you need to hear. And that's my MO. Do you blame everyone else for your failures? If you do that, if it's everybody else's fault but yours, then you've got a problem. And I've had to tell people that before. Because if we take a trade, and let's say last week was a perfect example. Grub. All right. Everybody knows what happened to me on Grub. At perfect setup, I got in, and within a few seconds, I was blown up. Okay? You know how many people blame me for them losing a lot of money? And I asked them, why did you blame me? Because I followed you in the trade. I said, so you're going to blame me for you breaking a major rule of trading. See, you should have had your own trade plan, number one. So following me, you were wrong. Number two, there was nothing wrong with the setup. The setup was perfect. It just so happened is one of those trades that went against you. And unfortunately, there wasn't enough time to put in a hard stop. So this is the risk that you take. It's not my fault. If you take the same trade I take and it doesn't work, it's not my fault that the trade didn't work. It's not my fault at all. You need to find somebody in the market that turned the trade against you and go blame them if you want to blame somebody. But unless you're ready to accept the responsibility for your actions, it's going to be very difficult for you to be successful. You're not teachable. Do you talk more than you listen? Now, I may be guilty of that, but I'm the teacher, so I've got an excuse. Do you tend to find fault with others? Do you look for problems in others? And here again, I've got a small community, but you'd be surprised. There's a handful that all they do is look to find fault in what I do, or try to find inconsistencies with what I do and try to get me to explain it. But that's all they're doing. Instead of focusing on their trading, they're focusing on my inconsistencies with what I do. And, I have to tell you, the market is not consistent. It's inconsistent. And so there are times where you have to adapt or change one little thing. And if you're not paying attention and you're not listening as to why, and you're trying to say, oh, you're doing something that you say you don't do, then hey, you're going to be stuck. You're not going anywhere. So, you have to focus on you. Find the faults in yourself. Look in the mirror before you start talking and blaming other people, because I sure as hell do. I look in the mirror and I own up to my mistakes. If I don't do anything else, if you don't see me do anything else in this community, I do it. When I screw up, you know it, because you see it live. And there's no hiding from it. And I don't try to hide from it. So, you're going to have to be able to do that on your own. Now, here's a good one. Have you made it to this point on your charm and charisma more so than your efforts? And there are people who can charm the pants off of anybody. You don't have to do anything. You could charm and talk your way into getting what you want. But you won't be able to do that in the market. It's not going to happen. The market is not only, it's not that the market doesn't want to hear it. It can't hear you. So you're going to have to stand up and work and put in work in order to make it happen. So if you answer yes to these questions, then, how are you going to get out of this? How do you get out of this funk? You humble yourself. You have to humble yourself. It was hard for me to do it because I wasn't a humble person in the beginning, but now I'm one of the most humble people you ever want to meet, because I realized that I didn't know everything I thought I knew. And just because I was successful in everything that I'd done up to that point doesn't mean it's going to translate into the rest of my life. Teaching was a challenge at first. I had to learn a lot of things. But it wasn't until I became humble and allowed myself to learn and take in this information, take constructive criticism, when people came and observed me. Because in the beginning, everything that somebody observed, I had an answer for. That, no, this is what I wanted to do. This is how it's supposed to be done. I don't know what you're talking about. And they're the professional, and I'm coming into the industry. So it was really crazy. But humble yourself. That's the key. Humble yourself. Now, another issue that I run into sometimes is with mentoring. Mentoring is about experience. It's more of an informal relationship between the person learning and the person teaching. It's a lot more intense and involved in teaching. Teaching is just about, giving knowledge and foundation and fundamentals. Mentoring It's where you bring the experience. You apply the knowledge and everything you learned and you put it into practice. You know, it's not just doing something, but you're learning why and how to do it. You know, mentors impart their wisdom, practical insight, and creativity to encourage other people to learn and to express and develop their own skills. That's the goal that I have for this community, is to get you to a point where you just take off. You've learned the fundamentals, you've learned the foundation, and you just take off. And you do what you need to do in order to be successful. And here's an example of someone who sent me their chart. Their reflection is on the chart. It doesn't, some will send it as a separate document. Some will put notes on their chart, and some will do both. But here's an example of somebody putting in the work. And if you do it every day, day in and day out, you're going to see the results. Is it going to happen overnight? Is it going to happen in 2 weeks? No. But over a period of time. And like I said, and I'm still standing by what I told you guys at the beginning of the year. Give me 6 months, an honest 6 months. Follow my roadmap. I'm giving it to you. And I gave you 6 months so that you could get it done. If you do what you're supposed to do, put in the work, and don't quit after 2 months because you're not profitable, because you shouldn't be profitable in 2 months. That's why I said it takes 6 months. Don't give up. You have to keep working. It's gonna happen, but you have to keep working. You have to use the mentoring time that you have. Use everything. Use all your resources. And if you don't put 120% in it, you're not getting anything out of it. If you put 60% in, then you're only going to get 60% of success. And that's not profitability. So I'm not saying that you're going to make, a couple $1,000s a week in 6 months. You'll be consistently profitable. And you'll be at a point where you are scaling up. You're adding position size. You're starting to trade some more advanced strategies that's going to bring you even more opportunity. So it's a process. And I still hold myself to that guarantee. You come in and you do what you're supposed to do, and you take advantage of the mentoring every month, I can get you there. As a teacher, as a mentor, I know it can be done. I've seen it happen. And you just have to you have to do your part. And I'm here to do mine. So just go through that quiz again if you need to, and try to determine if you're teachable or not. If not, humble yourself. Open your mind and receive the knowledge that you're going to need in order to get to where you want to be. It may not be what you want to hear, but it'll damn sure be what you need to hear. All right, so Thursday, I'm having another live stream, live day trading webinar. Come in, watch me build my watch list, and trade these strategies live. Win, lose, or draw. Whatever problems, whatever issues I experience, you get to see it live as my members do every day. I don't call out trades. You see exactly what I do, because I can't hide. If I screw up, I can't hide it. It's right there for you to learn from. And you learn from mistakes more so than you do successes. I know successes is what attracts people to you because they want to be connected to a successful person. But I'm going to lose. There are going to be days, there are going to be weeks that I might lose in a row, but I'll be back. And when you become a consistently profitable independent trader, you're going to have days and weeks that you're going to lose too. And if you don't know how to handle it, if you haven't had a mentor that has taken you through that, you're going to crash and burn and you probably won't make it back. So that's why I do it live and in color. That's why, it's embarrassing sometimes. Yes, it is. But I know the end result is you guys are learning from my mistakes. You're learning from my screw ups. And that's what it's all about. It's about the learning. And that's it. So come join me Thursday. See what we do. And if it resonates with you, come join us. Go through that Roadmap to Success series and put an honest effort in it. And I guarantee you, I can take you to profitability. Where you go from there is up to you. But I can get you there. All right, so yesterday, didn't get to do a recap yesterday, so we're going to do this real quick. HAL, I didn't like anything out of the gate, so I waited for a good secondary entry. HAL, we put in a lower high here, a lower low here, got under the 20, and that's when I got short, but it quickly found support here, and I ended up getting stopped out. Then I waited until we got established over the VWAP. I'm saying, okay, now, we're going to take off. We're not going to dip down anymore. So I get in and we start to make a run up. Then we had this sell off back to VWAP and another little bounce, but we didn't make a higher high. And we started to sell through this and I got frustrated. There was no reason for me to take this off at break even when I did it. It was just pure frustration that I killed this, that I put my stop in where I did. It actually hit my stop before it did this. I had a hard stop in, but I had moved it from where it should have been back up to here. And out of pure frustration. And it came down, it tapped my stop, and then it went to take off. And of course, I don't even have to tell you what kind of trade this was. 100% revenge. Because I was pissed off that this thing came down, hit my stop, and in a matter of 30 seconds started to rip. That tells you how pissed off I was. And so I jumped back in. I did get a cover here. And this thing, did try to make a rip up. I took it all off here. And again, I was caught. I was still frustrated. I was still ticked off a little bit. So I took it off here. Should have gotten back in. I was pissed that this didn't run up to the high day. I was pissed and just took it off. And should have got back in. Had I done that, I probably would have come close to being green, or if not being green, if I had traded this right. I would have brought it all the way back. But I didn't. Ended up $95 in the hole. And that was that. Now, why are the fees a little bit more on this? I went with 1,000 shares. This is why I don't trade large share size on this account. Well, I don't recommend you trading large share size in SureTrader or any broker that has fees like this. The more size you trade, the more you're going to pay in commissions and fees. And 1,000 is about as much as I'm going to go on this. So this was a $22 stock. It didn't have a history of moving very fast, so 1,000 shares felt comfortable to me in that, but it does rake up the ECN fees and commissions. So you damn well better make sure you can make some money on this, or else you're gonna be eating a lot of commissions. So that's what happened here. Now, CDNS, this was an earnings trade that went the wrong way. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But I didn't take profit on it or take the hit on it. I was waiting for the conference call at 5 o'clock. We had a huge washout real quick and it came back. But here's the thing. Earnings were good. It was anticipated, and the numbers I saw led me to believe we were going to beat on earnings. Guidance looked really good. 8 to 12 months out, guidance looked really good, and that's where we're trading on. So all the numbers look good, and I expected a gap up. When a stock sells off like this, going into the close, I'm expecting a gap up. Because most of the stocks that gap up sell off into the close. And everything lined up perfectly. If I saw this today, I would have traded it today. So it wasn't the setup. It was pure manipulation, pure and simple manipulation. But I waited to see, and what happens a lot of times is after the conference call, people get their head screwed on straight and then it starts to rip. So that's kind of what I was waiting for, to see if that was going to happen. And I got sidetracked and forgot to come back before 6 o'clock and cut this off. And I wish this thing ran to 7 and 8 o'clock. I wish I could trade all night like in TD. But SureTrader shuts it off at 6, and that's that. I missed the cutoff. And again, I'm stuck in a trade that I shouldn't be stuck in because not paying attention. But it worked out pretty good. I didn't lose as much money. I shouldn't have lost any money. I should have made money on this because today it did exactly what I expected it to do when it announced earnings. That's why I know this thing was manipulated. I think somebody sold it off. They accumulated whatever positions they wanted to down there, and they waited for it to rip. And they're probably going to hold it, and this is probably going to continue to push up for several days. But it ran up, and I felt pretty good about it. But then this candle, had we been able to hold over red to green, I would have been fine. I would have left it going. If we didn't have this huge sell-off, if it had come halfway back, I would have left this on. But I didn't like the way this thing was selling. I moved my stop up again, and I had my stop at the right place, down here. But I moved it up, and it ended up stopping me out, and it ended up pushing up all day, making the move I wanted to make. Here again, emotions. Letting emotions get involved and forcing me. It forced me. It made it so that I changed my trade plan in the middle of the trade. And when that happens, it usually doesn't end well. Because it was based on emotions, not based on the actual chart and technicals or anything like that. That's totally different. When the technicals are telling you something different, then you have to amend your plan. But if the technicals are not telling you anything different, leave it the hell alone. And I didn't do that and ended up losing $70 on it today, I think. Let me see. $73.46, which was a lot better than $200 and some dollars. But it should have been positive. Should have been positive. I should have made over $100 on this. But woulda, coulda, shoulda. Don't pay the bills. All right, so this is EDU. This is the one we traded today. I did have this chart marked, and I don't know what the hell happened to the marks. But this was a 52-week high breakout. We were well over the 52-week high. No chance of it coming back testing it. So I felt pretty confident about it going long. So here, the 5-minute opening range high and the low. And then the pre-market high was right here. So instead of me jumping on it on the break, I waited for the pre-market high to break. And as soon as it did, I jumped in and started taking profit at my predetermined targets. It's whole and half dollar marks is kind of what we were looking for, because it was a 52-week high breakout. I didn't have any levels to base my profit targets off of, so I had to use whole and half dollar marks. And 110 was exactly where I thought it was going to hit and stop. And it came close, and then it started to sell off. And I anticipated it to bounce here at the 9. I thought about shorting this, taking this off and shorting it. But I let it come back. This was the last piece of this trade that I took off on a profit stop. And I was like, I'm going to wait and catch this on the bounce. Well, I was waiting for this candle to break the high of this candle. This tells me whether we're going to legit bounce or not. Now, it's not 100%, but it's 70, 80%, and that's all I'm looking for. But it didn't. Never broke the high of this, and this candle never broke the high. It just sold straight off. So I'm like, well, this stock's done. We sold through VWAP. This candle opened, tried to push up a little bit, sold through the 20, and so it closed. And I'm like, so we should be coming down to the 50 here, and I may take some at the 50, and then the 200 would be the final target, or either leave some here, and then run down to the 200, which is up under here. But that's what I was gonna do, and this thing ripped against me, just like grub. I get in, it's all red candle, it's selling, and then it just rips up. But I was able to catch it on my max loss stop, and that kind of hurt me. I mean, it pretty much negated this beautiful trade over here. So I waited for another setup, another solid entry. I got in here under the 20, got one target, and then it bounced, stopped me out at break even. And it ran all the way up. Once it held VWAP, I bought it. This should have been a target. I should have been taking it off once we broke through the high of this. Accidentally added 100 shares versus taking 100 shares off, put me in 300. So I took profit here and then started to sell. Took some and ended up getting out here break even. And then I got back in it. I mean, this was a frustrating trade, and this is why I got so many tickets, is because it would stop me out and I had to jump back in. And so it bounced, we got back in, took profit here, and ended up taking the rest off here when I felt the momentum shift. I mean, it was clear as day. And I was talking about it in chat, mentioned it over and over again. And sure enough, when I got out, the bottom fell out of this. And it ended up catching a piece of the short here. But that's all it was. It was just a piece. It didn't sell off anymore. And we bounced up. It did sell a little bit later on, but I didn't get back in it. So I was pretty much done waiting on earnings, which I didn't get a trade off today because the setups just wasn't clean. They made beautiful moves. IRBC or IRBT and what's the other one? I forgot already. But they made beautiful moves. And I just didn't get the trade. No, whenever you get something like that, whenever you have the setup doesn't work and it's not the way it's supposed to be, you walk away from it. and let it go. And that's exactly what I did. So ended the day 240.26. Not a bad trade. Not bad at all. I'll take it. You know, if it hadn't have been for that $300 hit, that max loss hit on that second trade, this would have been an awesome day. But this one trade right here just kind of made it into a crappy day for me. So it is what it is. It's trading. We can't let it get to us. I showed you on 2 previous trades where when I let my emotions get involved, the stupid decisions I made. So keeping my emotions out of this, trading like I got some sense, helped out tremendously. So that was my day. So sputtering out of the gate this week, but we got out the gate. That's the main thing. So looking for Wednesday and Thursday to be strong. Don't forget, check with me Thursday, 8:30 right here on YouTube. I'll be streaming live. Anybody you know that might be interested, invite them. You know, I don't blast emails. I don't do any of that crap. So it's all about word of mouth. So if you think it's worth it, pass it on. I think that's it. All right, so these Netflix trades, these are 100% following the plan that I laid out for you guys on Sunday in the market analysis / swing trade room. I'm trading this in the swing trade account. And so if you look at the daily chart on Netflix, you'll see I'm trading the daily washes. As long as we're selling off, I'm trading the daily washouts. But we'll cover these on Sunday along with any other swing trades that we do and an update on DIS. But this was yesterday. We took profit yesterday, 949.68 on the first move, and we got in the second move. We carried overnight, and I covered here. You know, 306 was a target today, but it didn't look like it was going to hit it. I moved it to 306.25, and damn if it didn't hit 306 after I did that. So, you know, go figure. But another $900 day. If I can do this every day this week, I'm going to feel a hell of a lot better about the first 2 weeks of this month. You know, I still got to pay the bills. So this is going to help tremendously. But like I said, we'll talk more about this on Sunday. And we'll cover all of the trades and talk more in depth about it. So if you missed Sunday, go back and watch the video. You'll see where I brought up Netflix chart and hear exactly what I talked about. So I've talked long enough. I'm done. You guys have a great night, a great evening, and I will catch you tomorrow.